So in this video, I'll be doing something I haven't done before, which is comparing four different devices. Today, I'm going to be settling the debate of which entry-level smartphone under 150,000 naira gives you the best value for money in 2025. I have here the top four heavy hitters: the Samsung Galaxy A07, the Redmi 15C, the Tecno Spark 40, and of course, the Infinix Hot 60i. I've used all four devices here extensively, and I'll be scoring each categories in terms of design, display, performance, the battery and charging, as well as camera, and also AI features to crown the ultimate budget champion. This is not going to be an in-depth review because I've reviewed all devices here individually. If you want to see a more in-depth review, you can check the channel or check the description for a link to each review. First of all, the Tecno Spark 40 and the Infinix Hot 60i are basically the same smartphone. They have way more similarities than the Redmi and the Samsung. I included both for the sake of people who prefer one brand over the other. For this first round, I'll be starting with the design and build quality. All four devices here feel solid in the hand and they have a practical and no complicated design approach. They all have plastic frames and back. This category is kind of tricky because design is always subjective. What stands out to you might not appeal to me and vice versa. But for the sake of this video, the Tecno Spark 40 wins in terms of design. It has a lightweight, it is slim, and the design is clean, and it honestly looks way more expensive than it is. But let me know in the comment section if you would pick a different design or what design stands out to you the most amongst these four devices. When it comes to protection, three of these devices are IP64 rated, which means they can handle dust and light splashes without stress. The odd one here is the Samsung Galaxy A07, which only comes with an IP54 rating. It's not terrible, but it puts the A07 behind the others in this round. As for the screen protection, the Redmi 15C is the only one that offers a Gorilla Glass 3 protection, and that gives you some extra peace of mind against scratches and everyday wear. The others don't specify any Gorilla Glass at all, which means you're probably stuck with basic protection. Now, let's talk about the display types first. The Redmi 15C and Samsung Galaxy A07 both stick with drop-notch display, while the Tecno Spark 40 and the Infinix Hot 60i go with a punch hole cutout. The punch hole definitely looks more modern and have less bezels, especially on the chin area, unlike the Redmi 15C and the Galaxy A07. In terms of display size, the Redmi 15C has the biggest display of all four devices with a massive 6.9-inch display. The other three, the Spark 40, the Hot 60i, and the Galaxy A07, are all at 6.7 inches, which is still pretty big, but not quite as commanding as the Redmi. So, if you're all about display size, the Redmi takes the lead in this category. All four devices offer a 720p resolution, so you're basically getting the same display experience. On paper, the Redmi 15C, the Tecno Spark 40, and the Hot 60i all boast a 120Hz refresh rate, while the Galaxy A07 is capped at 90Hz. But here's the thing, don't let the specs on paper fool you. The 120Hz refresh rate I mentioned on these three devices are only visible in the settings app and at most the home screen. But when I put all four devices to use, the Samsung feels snappier and more responsive than you'd expect from just looking at the numbers. So for this round, I would hand the win to the Galaxy A07. Moving over to the performance, this is where things start to get interesting for some and a bit disappointing for others. In my earlier review of the Samsung Galaxy A07, I mentioned how Samsung A series, mostly the entry level, usually struggles against other brands, but this year it's the other way around. Take the Redmi 15C, the Tecno Spark 40, and the Hot 60i for example. They all use the MediaTek Helio G81 processor with a 12nm chip, which is kind of fine for the price. But Samsung went further with the A07, packing in a stronger MediaTek Helio G99 processor, which is built on a 6nm chip. In real world use, the difference is clear. The Galaxy A07 leads with a significant margin. Multitasking is smoother, it delivers better gaming performance, and it just feels more responsive overall. So, for the performance, the Galaxy A07 takes the lead again. Now, when getting a budget device like this one's, battery life is usually the least of your worries because they tend to come with a decent battery capacity. All phones here offer a decent battery life and charging speed, but some just do better than the others. This is mostly the parts where the Redmi 15C leads with a massive 6000 mAh battery paired with a 33 watts fast charging. For a battery this big, the charge time is actually decent. Right behind is the Tecno Spark 40 and the Infinix Hot 60i, both packing a 5200 mAh batteries with an even faster 45 watts charging. And lastly, the Samsung Galaxy A07 comes with a 5000 mAh battery and 25 watts charging. It is not the fastest, but it is okay. And just to clear things up, in my earlier review of the Galaxy A07, there was a mix up there and I said the charging speed is a 15 watts, which is not correct because the charging speed on this is a 25 watts charging. So in short, the Redmi 15C wins here when it comes to sheer battery life, while the Tecno Spark 40 and the Infinix Hot 60i gets credit for their faster charging speeds. Even though these are entry-level devices, people buying them still care about which one takes better pictures. All four devices pack a 50 megapixel main camera with only the Galaxy A07 adding an extra 2 megapixel depth sensor. On the selfie side, it's an 8 megapixel across the board. When it comes to the results, they all perform about the same, decent colors and acceptable details, but the Samsung stands out slightly with better natural colors and more dynamic range. For video recording, the Tecno Spark 40 and the Hot 60i can shoot up to 2K, while the Redmi 15C and Galaxy A07 are capped at 1080p. Overall, the image processing here is very similar, but Samsung has an edge when it comes to photo quality. But Tecno and Infinix gets an upper hand in video resolution. Now, let's talk about the software experience on these devices. All four comes with Android 15 out of the box, but when it comes to updates, Samsung has always been more serious even with their budget devices. The Galaxy A07 would be getting 6 years of Android updates, and Samsung has been very clear about that. Redmi, on the other hand, usually gives you 1 to 2 years, but for the Tecno Spark 40 and the Hot 60i, there's no official information on that, and it's unlikely they'll get any major update. So for this round, the Galaxy A07 takes the win with that 6 years update promise. On the software side, the Redmi 15C runs HyperOS 2, which gives you some customizations and work nicely if you already own some other Xiaomi devices, but it does come with a lot of bloatware. The Samsung Galaxy A07 runs One UI 7, which is clean, simple to use, and still gives you plenty of options to tweak things the way you like. The Tecno Spark 40 runs HiOS 15, and the Hot 60i runs XOS 15, both with some AI integrations as well as bloatware. If you are after basic AI features, the Tecno Spark 40 and the Hot 60i are your best bet. But if you want something cleaner and less cluttered, then the Samsung Galaxy A07 is a better option. So for this part, I'm going to be talking about the extras, just basically pointing out the little things. All four smartphones comes with a side-mounted fingerprint scanner. For the audio, the Redmi 15C and A07 only give you single speakers, but the Tecno Spark 40 and the Infinix Hot 60i steps it up with dual speakers. And even though it doesn't make much of a difference, still it's a nice plus on an entry-level device. When it comes to the storage option, the Redmi 15C starts at 128 gig and even has a 256 gig option if you go higher with RAM. The Samsung A07 starts at 64 gig, but you can also get it in 128 gig storage. The Tecno Spark 40 and the Infinix Hot 60i only comes in 128 gig. For the little extras, the Redmi 15C and the Hot 60i gives you a 10 watts reverse wire charging. The Hot 60i and the Tecno Spark 40 comes with an IR blaster. It's not something you see every day in this price range. And of course, all four phones support micro SD cards and dual SIM. Also, the Galaxy A07 has no inbuilt screen recorder. For me, I'd give this round to the Tecno Spark 40 and the Infinix Hot 60i because of those dual speakers and the IR feature. It's a small thing, but it still makes the overall experience of the smartphone feel nicer. Now, if you're thinking of the price, all four smartphones sit in the same range if you're looking at the 4 gig and 128 gig storage, but the Redmi 15C comes in slightly cheaper. After testing all four extensively and comparing them as well, this is who each smartphone is for. Choose the Galaxy A07 if you want the best overall performance and if long-term support matters to you. Choose the Redmi 15C if battery life is your absolute top priority. It is also ideal for users who want a larger screen. Choose the Tecno Spark 40 if design and AI features matters to you. Same goes for the Infinix Hot 60i. So, what do you think? Do you agree with my rankings? Which smartphone would you choose and why? Drop them in the comment section below and don't forget to like this video if it helped you decide. Subscribe for more comparisons and hit that notification bell. Like always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.